Let's start with Shakespeare's time. As stated, the play was written in 1606, 3 years into the Jacobean era. Now, to understand this context, we have to cast our minds back to this more medieval time, this much more violent time. As a little bit of historical fact about English battles, most European blades, swords, were not made to slash. They were not made to cut. They were made to hack off limbs. Oftentimes, the aftermath of a English battle would be littered with the corpses of armored soldiers groaning in pain, waiting to die, missing limbs, waiting to be killed by infection, bleeding out, or even hunger and exposure. Best case, they would wait a few hours, but in other cases, they would wait days, simply to pass on, for the pain to be gone. This is the context that Europe was in during the medieval period. These were the very real emotional weights of battle. It's also important to understand that around the Globe Theater, there was also bear fighting, animal fighting, other such violent activities. Puritans frowned at theater for this very reason, as well as the reason that it interrupted the workday, and the Puritans are all about that good hard work ethic. So, already the play was being written at an extremely violent time. This is also not considering that a mere few decades earlier, the Tudor dynasty were doing what they're doing with Queen Mary, as well as the War of Roses. So, it's a violent time period coming out of yet another violent time period. This is the context we find the original productions of Macbeth in. Macbeth is in many ways about conflict, about these very European ideas of war. For example, Macbeth, as well as more the story of the return of Malcolm, the proper king, is meant to serve as a very real mirror to King James's rule. So, this history of battle, this history of warring to claim the quote-unquote rightful heir, which is a very prevalent theme in Macbeth, is a very real theme in the historical context we find it in. Keeping in mind that how the rightful king is often found is because of this egregious bloodshed and violence of a European battle.